Hey, good afternoon on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I'm Brian Manning, and I want to answer your questions today about winning asylum in the United States. How's it going? Good afternoon. Hello, hello. Let me know where you're watching from today. I'd love to hear where you guys are at, where you're joining us from. Always a pleasure for me to see where this community is at, where you're supporting each other from. Say hello in the comments in the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from today. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now I'm an asylum lawyer, and my law firm is called, excuse me, Political Asylum Lawyers. And we help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. And I want to know, what do you want to know? What do you want to know about winning asylum in America? Hey, we got Zishan over on YouTube saying hello, hello, hello. Zishan, how are you doing? Glad to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Who we got on TikTok? Good afternoon, TikTok. How's it going? We got the Bast, Messi, Amira, Usman, SM, Zuzu, Lola. Good afternoon to all of you. We got Minelik says hello from Seattle. Nice. Seattle, beautiful city. Love it up in Seattle. Grace Babade on Instagram. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Instagram. This Instagram channel is new, by the way. If anybody wants to follow our channel on Instagram, it's new. We in the past we just had a Spanish language account on Instagram, but now we've got English. So if any of you prefer to consume your asylum related content on Instagram, you can go find me on Instagram. The username on Instagram is asylum_lawyer. You can just search for asylum lawyer on Instagram. But hey guys, really the best place to check out our content is YouTube. YouTube's where I've got all of my like full length tutorials and where you can find trainings that are really detailed and really helpful to help you with your case. On YouTube, the channel is called Political Asylum Lawyers, which is also the name of my law firm, Political Asylum Lawyers. And we are an immigration law firm based in Houston, Texas, but it doesn't matter where we're based, honestly, because we help immigrants all over the country. So it doesn't matter where you are, we can help you anywhere in the United States. So what do you want to know about winning asylum? Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Grace, where are you at on Instagram? Let me know. Grace, where are you joining us from today? YouTube, how are you? Good afternoon on YouTube. Happy Hub says hi. Hey, Happy Hub. Anthil says hello. Good to see you, Anthil. Karen Bilger says hi. Best regards from Michigan, Ann Arbor. I've never been to Ann Arbor, but I hear it's lovely. That's where the University of Michigan is, right? I hear it's a beautiful campus and a beautiful area around Ann Arbor. Nice. We got Wahid on YouTube. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. Um, where's my guy Ong at? I bet he'll join on YouTube because we just got one of our clients um, has been on pretty much every YouTube live that I've done for like the last 2 months. One of our Mandamus clients, who we filed a lawsuit to help them get their interview scheduled in their stalled asylum case. And we just got his asylum interview notice today. He's going to be excited because he's usually on all of these lives asking me questions about his case, about his mandamus lawsuit. And we won in the sense we won the mandamus part in the sense that we achieved what we set out to achieve, which was getting his interview scheduled. We sued the government to force them to finally schedule an interview in this stalled asylum case for one of our clients. So look, guys, you may have, if you've been on these lives the last few days, you may have seen me announce this, something that I announced, I think last Friday for the first time. And to me, it's a pretty big deal. We are offering a money back guarantee right now on our Mandamus service. This is for people who've been waiting for several years for an asylum interview and they're tired of waiting and they want to finally get their interview scheduled so they can have their interview, win their case, and move forward with confidence, with certainty about their future in America. And that's what we yeah, that's what we're doing, is offering this money back guarantee. You're not going to find that with other law firms. Look, um, honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen a lawyer offer a money back guarantee on any kind of service. An immigration lawyer, that is, immigration lawyer. So yeah, if you're tired of waiting, go schedule a consultation with us, all right? So we can talk about this about in detail about exactly what it's like, how it works, and see whether you qualify. All right. All right. Um, Look, let me address this issue of the asylum fee. There's a bunch of people asking about this already on YouTube, TikTok. Um, The short answer is yes, you have to pay an asylum fee for an initial fee if you're applying right now. Does someone who's already applied need to pay the so-called annual fee right now? If your case is pending with USCIS has made clear that no, you don't. There's no deadline of today, September 30th. There's no deadline in the coming days. USCIS said they're going to reach out to you individually to tell you when you have to pay your annual fee. You'll get a letter from USCIS saying, hey, you need to pay your annual fee by X date. Okay. For immigration court, it's less clear. The immigration courts have not clarified whether someone needs to be paying right now an annual fee. The language that they have provided in guidance for this is ambiguous. It is not clear. Some lawyers and many people have interpreted it to say that if you have an asylum case that's been pending for 1 year or more, that you need to pay the $100 annual fee today, by the end of the day today, because today is the last day of our so-called fiscal year in the United States. Some immigration lawyers have said no, they don't think you need to pay it by today, and that because there's no concrete instructions saying that you have to do it today. It's just kind of a vaguely worded instruction that could be interpreted as, oh, you need to pay it today. There's no mechanism to do it. Like there's on the EOI, the immigration court system, there's no like drop down tab that says annual fee. Select this to pay annual fee. There's one that says initial fee, but that's different than annual fee. And there's no clear instructions saying you need to pay today, and there's no obvious mechanism to do it. However, what I can't, so I'm not telling any of you right now, to be crystal clear, I'm not telling you right now what I think you should do, but I can tell you what we're doing. For our clients that have a case in immigration court or on appeal at the Board of Immigration Appeals or on appeal at the Federal Court of Appeals, we're trying to make those payments today on our client's behalf. For immigration, for those people that have been pending for more than a year in immigration court, BIA, or Federal Court of Appeals, just to be safe. I ultimately, honestly, my personal opinion is that I don't think it's going to hurt anyone if they don't pay today. But I don't trust this administration to be reasonable and fair, and so we're trying to get those payments done on behalf of our clients. It's hard though. We've got a big team that's been working all day yesterday on trying to make the payments and all day today, and it's very, very hard because the system keeps malfunctioning. The EOIR, the immigration court webpage where you make the payments, it keeps breaking. It keeps messing up because one, because it's government software and they often mess up. Two is probably, I have to imagine, because there's so many people trying to do this right now, it's overwhelming the system. So we're trying to make the payments today for our clients out of a massive abundance of caution. But to be clear, I'm not advising anyone on this watching this live right now or any other time whether you should do it or not. That's something that you should talk about one-on-one with your asylum lawyer if you have one. If not, it's just a decision you got to make on your own. All right. All right. Let's go to the questions. What do you want to know about winning asylum in America, and where are you watching them? Where are you watching from today? We've got TikTok. Good afternoon. How can Usman Nasrullah says, how can we contact with you to prepare for your USCIS interview? Do you have your interview scheduled, Usman? Usman, if you're still here, let me know. Do you have an interview scheduled? When is it? When is it? And what asylum office? I want to know. When is it and what office? Usman, I'm going to put this interview training. I'm going to put this in the chat, a website that I want you to go to. This is how you learn about what we can help you with. Interview training, asylumprep.com. I want you to go, Usman, I want you to go to this, please go to this website, asylumprep.com, okay? Asylumprep.com. One more time, asylumprep.com. That is where you're going to find a special webpage that I put together all about this topic of how we can help you prepare for your interview, okay? Asylumprep.com. Check that out. Liliana Rodriguez de Faria says, I missed your lives. Glad you're back. Yeah, thanks. It's been a while. I'm going live in Spanish too, Liliana. I don't know if you're a Spanish speaker, but I've been going live in Spanish also almost every day for the last couple of weeks. All right. Ooh, interview in 3 days. Thanks for your videos. Any wishes for me? Scared to death, says AK. AK, I wish you would have done the mock interview with us. I wish you would have done the mock asylum interview experience. Let me adjust my microphone. because I think that is something that could really, really help you. But 3 days, unfortunately, we don't have time to do it now. What I want you to do, Usman, excuse me, AK, is just on YouTube, on the Political Asylum Lawyers channel, go to the playlist and look for Asylum interview and watch that whole playlist, all right, in the next 3 days. And you need to basically memorize your declaration and your other materials that you submitted, okay? All right. Ain Bukhari says, I've done my interview last month and got a decision referred to court 2020. I'm sorry to hear that. That's tough. My question is, might they call me earlier from the scheduled date? Yeah, the question is this. Is it possible that your hearing date for immigration court could get bumped up or moved sooner? And the answer is yeah, it's actually pretty common. Look, a lot of people are getting notices saying that, hey, your immigration court hearing is 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever. They do often get moved. They do often get bumped up. Why? Usually it has nothing to do with your case. The timing of when you have your hearings has nothing to do with the actual like substance of your case or whether they think it's a good or bad case. Nothing like that. It's just administrative stuff. And sometimes, for example, a judge might hire a new judge that has a lot of availability on their calendar, and they'll fill those spots that are close up with people that are way back in the backlog, or the judge that you have that you're assigned to might retire or move or whatever, and they got to move you somewhere to someone else's calendar, and it could be much sooner. So yeah, it could be a few months from now, honestly. More likely to be in a year or two or something, but it could be very soon. So I hope you have an asylum lawyer who's helping you. And actually, there's a good chance that you can get that first hearing canceled altogether and skip straight to the individual hearing, the merits hearing. And you do that by doing what are called written pleadings, where you essentially do on paper ahead of time, like now, what would normally be done in person on the day of one of these master calendar hearings. And so you can then say, Judge, look, we already did everything on paper that we were going to do in the hearing. Let's please just skip it. Can you cancel the master calendar and go ahead and schedule the individual? And almost always they say yes. And that moves your case along faster, which is good. In my opinion, the sooner you have your interview or your individual hearing, the better your chances for success. So you want to do anything you can, in my opinion, to move your asylum case forward as quickly as possible. All right. What do you want to know about winning asylum? Yelinong, have you checked your email? Did you get an email from us? Good to see you. All right. Good afternoon. How long will the receipt notice take for U visa? I don't know. I don't do U visas. I don't know U visas at all, Wahid. My recommendation really is, I think you should talk with a lawyer who focuses on that kind of case, who does that kind of case often. They'll be in a better position to advise you. I don't know U visas. We do asylum. We do asylum all day, every day. Guys, I think that it's my recommendation. I invite you to get help, get advice from the professional who focuses all day, every day on the exact problem that you have, the exact problem that you need solved. Okay. If you think you might want help with an immigration case that's based on employment or based on marriage or family-based case, talk with lawyers who focus on that. If you want help with asylum, I think you're in the right place. That's what we do. That's what we do all day, every day. Okay. We're asylum lawyers. We're based in Houston, but we help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Doesn't matter where you are. We help people all over the country. If you think you might want help, please go to winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. I'm going to type that in the chat. Consultations. That was way off. Consultations. winasylum.com. That's where you can schedule a consultation. All right. winasylum.com. We want to talk. We want to we want to get to know you. We want to understand your situation, understand your case, and see if we think that we're in a position to help you. If we think we might be able to help you, we're going to explain how, like in great detail, what the exact steps are that we will take to give you the best possible chance of securing your future in America through asylum. All right. All right. Right. Nice. Oh, Leonardo Silva. Nice. So, hey, hey, Lillian, I'm Brazilian too. Brian is great. Thank you, Leonardo. Very kind of you. Appreciate that. Um, all right. Let's go. What questions do you have about winning asylum in America? Um, Usman, did you ever respond on TikTok? Usman, have you checked out that website? Go check out asylumprep.com, Usman. All right. Uh, Shelly Irish wants to know English or Irish, Manning. Um, it's Irish, I think. Pretty sure. Um, yeah, I think it was like O Manning at some point. All right. What happens after the credible fear interview? Wants to know Hugh T1 T 1989 on TikTok. The question is this: so what happens after a credible fear interview? Well, the asylum officer who does the credible fear interview makes a decision. Uh, they don't call this like approval or denial or grant or denial. They call it a positive decision or a negative decision. If you get a positive decision, it means that you get put into normal deportation proceedings. You get out of expedited removal proceedings, which you're currently in. If you have a credible fear interview, it means you are in expedited removal proceedings. If you get a positive credible fear decision, you get out of credit expedited removal and put into normal removal proceedings, which means you're going to get a chance to fully present your case to a judge. You actually still have to apply. You've not yet actually applied. You have to file your application form, and then you're going to have hearings in immigration court with the judge who's going to decide your asylum case. If you get a negative credible fear decision, they're going to ask you, okay, do you want a judge to review this negative decision? And if you want to keep fighting your case, you should say yes. That's basically like an appeal where a judge will kind of overlook it, look it over, and you'll have a hearing with the judge. It's usually a short, super short hearing where they just kind of ask you a few questions. It's not like a detailed asylum interview or asylum hearing. And if the judge agrees with the asylum officer, then they uphold that negative decision, and you could get deported imminently within days sometimes. Um, but if the judge disagrees, then they'll say, no, I think you deserve a chance to be in normal deportation proceedings, and you get put into normal deportation proceedings where you get a chance to explain your case and fight your case fully in immigration court. Okay. Junior Muhammad wants to know, how long does it take to get my affirmative interview scheduled or rescheduled in Los Angeles? The question is this: how long does it take to get your asylum interview rescheduled with USCIS? So let's say you had an interview scheduled, and then either you asked to have it rescheduled because you had a conflict or whatever, or you wanted more time, which, by the way, I think is a mistake. I think you should not seek to reschedule. You should do everything in your power to not reschedule your interview. Rather, you should attend it as scheduled. Or actually, USCIS may reach out to you and say, "Oh, interview canceled. We're going to have to reschedule it." So, how long does it take from that cancellation to the actual date of the interview? Usually, it's fast. Usually, it's just a few weeks, or usually it's a few weeks until you get the interview notice, and then between getting the notice and the actual interview date, it may be another couple of weeks. But usually, it's not so long because this is like top priority. Um, for the asylum office in terms of scheduling priorities. This is top priority. Actually, reschedules are. So usually it's pretty fast, but you can't. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. That may sometimes cases slip through the cracks, and it could be many weeks or months or even longer. And that's one of the reasons I recommend that you try to not reschedule. Rather, just go to your interview. Okay. It's bugged, says Taya. What do you mean? What are you talking about? It's bugged. Which court's getting new judges? Sanjot USA wants to know. Pretty much all of them are getting new judges. Pretty sure. Not all of them. Many of them. All right. We need a new president, says Bridget McCard. Can you please answer? The Bast says. How can I apply to get on the short list for the San Francisco office? Iman wants to know. You got to reach out to them. I would email them and say, what do you need for me to put me on the short list? Because whether they're accepting new people on the short list at any given time is different. Like they may be 1 minute, they may not be the next minute. And then what you need to tell them to make sure you actually get on the short list can vary. The requirements for that varies by office and by the time that you're doing it. So just email them and ask. All right. Monir says, does USCIS send notices to pay the $100 for pending each year? Yes, USCIS has said they're going to send notice when it's time for people to pay their $100 annual asylum fee. Okay? Okay. What do you want to know about winning asylum in the United States? Um, what if the Palkun wants to know if the asylum officer asks the first question, why are you afraid to return, and doesn't ask again at the end? I'm not sure I understand your question, Palkun. Can you state that in different words, what you're trying to ask? How long for the first interview from the filing of the asylum application? Manny wants to know. The question is this. How long is it taking on average for people to get an asylum interview with USCIS after filing their application? It's super fast right now for most people. Some cases are falling through the cracks and it's not fast, but for a majority of the people who've applied recently, they're getting their interview notice within just a few weeks of applying, okay, and having their interview a couple weeks on average after that. So most people, what I'm saying is most people are getting their interviews within 2 months of applying and doing their interviews within 2 months of applying. Some of them even faster. This is surprising news, right? Because everyone knows of people, you know, in their community, family, friends, whatever, who've been waiting for many years for an interview, 4, 6, 10 years for an interview. So you're like, wait, then how is it possible that people who apply now are getting an interview right away? And it's, yeah, surprising, but that's how it works. It's true. People are getting their interviews right away due to the scheduling priorities at USCIS, how that works, and the fact that very few people are coming to the border over the last 9 months or year means that there's a lot of capacity to do affirmative asylum interviews quickly, and they are. Most people are getting their interviews right away. So you've got to be ready. I hope you have a lawyer helping you, and I hope you're ready to prepare seriously and very, very quickly. All right, the preparation is key. Preparation is the most important part of your entire case. All right, what do you want to know about winning asylum in America? All right, all right. Okay. All right, Peter Salty says, hey, Brian, how's it going? I got my interview rescheduled. Okay. And held back around 10 days. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? What do you mean held back around 10 days? Peter, if you're on, and I don't understand what you say, I got my interview rescheduled and held back around 10 days. So it's rescheduled? Great. Is it a good thing or bad thing? It's well, it's good that you got it. If it's been rescheduled, that's good. I'm glad you got it rescheduled because the sooner you do your interview, in my opinion, the better. All right. Um, yeah. If it's scheduled, uh, then we should talk. Peter Salty, go to asylumprep.com. See if you think it looks helpful. Our preparation services. All right, we should talk. Oh, cool. Okay, Ye Linong says, hi, Brian. I have got it. Got my interview notice this morning from your team. I'm really excited and nervous, but I have confidence working with you and your team. Thank you very much for helping my case. Awesome. Ye Linong, glad. Thank you for commenting. Yep. So Ye Lin has said before on these YouTube lives, one of our clients, that we're helping with this case. We're helping to do two things. One, get the interview scheduled. Ye Lin is someone who's been waiting for years for their asylum interview. We filed a Mandamus lawsuit to force the government to give him his interview. And as he says on YouTube, he got the notice today, the interview notice, because our lawsuit worked. It was a success. The other thing we're doing is helping him to try to win his underlying asylum case, right? Because, you know, what good is it to get your interview if you lose? You want to win your case. And so, you know, we can help people with both of those things. Some people, it's true, some people hire us just for the Mandamus lawsuit. They're like, you know what, I'll do my own thing for trying to win the underlying case. I just want to get the interview. And they hire us just for the Mandamus lawsuit. Great, that's fine. But a lot of people want both. A lot of people want the Mandamus lawsuit, plus they want our help to actually be their lawyers and help them try to win the underlying asylum case. And there's a lot that we can still do. Even though you already applied, you know, some time ago, there's a lot that we can still do to help people improve their chances for success. Okay. So yep, awesome. Yeah, then I was really I saw that in our notice, like our notices of mail, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be. I told the team, I was like, oh, he's gonna be happy. He's been in all my lives recently, and he'll probably be in there today. He's gonna be happy. So yeah, I'm glad that you're happy. Yep, we're gonna get you ready. Don't worry, we're gonna get you prepared. You're gonna be feeling great. We're going to do a mock asylum interview. That's the best way that I know of to prepare someone for an interview. We're going to do a debrief session where then we go back and do a second session where we give you our feedback on how you did and all of our best tips for how to tell your story in a clear and impactful way to ensure the officer sees how you meet all the asylum eligibility requirements. All right. Um, nice. All right. So Loic Shingi Panga says, Brian, do you advise the TPS holder for 2 years to apply for asylum due to non-extension of TPS for his country since asylum is supposed to be applied for within the first year? Maybe. We'd have to talk. It's tricky. It's there's obviously, as I think what you're getting at here is, there's the 1 year filing deadline. So can you get around that? Is there a chance? Is there a good argument to be made? I don't know. We have to talk. We have to talk in a consultation. All right. Which I hope you will schedule at winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com, winasylum.com. Lillian says, applied in 2016, waiting until today. Should I apply for Mandamus? I'm in Massachusetts. I think you should talk with an asylum lawyer about possibly suing, yes, to get your interview scheduled. Yeah. Look, I think that the sooner you have your interview, the better your chances for success. Okay. There's multiple reasons for this. One of them is, let me address it like this. So the question is this. So why is it that I'm always telling people, look, you want to have your asylum interview as soon as possible. The sooner you get your interview, the better your chances for success. Why is that? There's multiple reasons. Here's a couple. With every passing month, and indeed with every passing year for sure, the asylum officers are more likely to say, look, I know some bad stuff happened to you back in your country, but that was a long time ago. Now after all this time, why do you think someone still wants to hurt you now? Why do you think you're at risk now after all this time? With more time, they just feel it like it's less pressing, the risks facing you, okay? But the other probably more important thing right now is the Trump administration. Approval rates are falling drastically under Trump. I think that with every passing month, they're going to continue falling, and it's going to get harder and harder to win asylum with every month that Trump is in power. If you get called for your interview naturally, let's say 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I think it's going to be so much harder to win than it is right now. I think it's better to force the interview now through a mandamus lawsuit and get your interview soon within the coming months rather than wait, do nothing, possibly get it a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when I think it's probably going to be much harder to win. All right. And right now we're offering something pretty rare that you're not going to find with other law firms. We're offering a money-back guarantee on our mandamus lawsuit service. Terms and conditions apply, right? You got to qualify. Not everyone qualifies. But we'd love to talk with you about it at winasylum.com is where you can schedule a consultation. The first step is a consultation. WINASYLUM.com. That's winasylum.com. Winasylum.com. Let's talk. All right. Muslim Tech says, hey Brian, my English is not great. Can we create a file with you through a translator? Good question. The question is this. Can we help you if you don't speak English all that well? Absolutely. Look, we have lots of clients where we don't speak a common language. So in my office, we speak English and almost everyone speaks Spanish. But we've got people who speak Hindi fluently, French fluently, a couple other languages. But if we don't speak your language, it's okay. We'll work it out. You'll have to supply interpretation, a friend or family member who's fluent, or you can hire someone to help with a couple of key things with our mock interview that we do and the debrief session. But other than that, it's not that hard to manage things by using Google Translate when we're doing things in writing. It's not that hard. So yeah, we help lots of people in other languages. With today's technologies, it's not something that keeps us from supporting people where we don't share a common language. We can do it. Leonardo Alcantara says, hey Brian, I'm your client. Guy and the paralegal team are great. Thank you, Leonardo, for the nice comment. I appreciate that. I'm gonna let them know about that. Your kind comment, and thank you for being a client too. We appreciate that. Guys, choosing which asylum lawyer you're gonna hire to represent you is a huge decision. It's a hugely consequential decision. We're talking about your safety. We're talking about your security. We're talking about the future that you're trying to build in America. So it's a huge deal. Who represents you to try to give you the best possible chance to do that. And so we take it seriously. We appreciate how big of a deal this is for you, and we don't take it lightly, the responsibility that we have to our clients. All right. Is waiting 6 months for a decision for affirmative asylum normal or no? Says asks NA on YouTube. It's not that uncommon. NA, when did you apply? How long ago did you apply? If you applied 5 years or more ago, then I think you're in a pretty good position to sue the government in a mandamus lawsuit to force them to give you your asylum interview. Yana Shatruk Kaje, can I, as an applicant, translate the written testimonies of my relatives? No. No, it needs to be someone else. Okay, and you need to have the translator's certification as well. USCIS and the immigration courts both have rules about this, about how it has to look. There has to be what's called a certified translation. Yana, I highly recommend that you use a professional with experience doing these translations for the asylum office or immigration court, whichever the case may be. Yana, where are you from? With that Cyrillic, I'm curious to know where you're from. I'm a Slavophile, Yana. I minored. I studied Russian language and art and history at university, and studied a few times in St. Petersburg, and spent a month in Ukraine once, and then spent a couple months in Uzbekistan. So I like the former Soviet Union, Eastern Europe, and South Central and Southeast Europe. Good stuff. All right. Oh, nice. I don't know how to say this name in this script, but somebody on YouTube says, "Good afternoon, Brian. Hope you're doing well. I'm here again to tell you thank you for all that you do for all the videos on your channel. Every asylum seeker should know about you and your channel." Very kind of you. Thank you for those super kind words. Very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, and for those of you on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube is where I've got all my best stuff. Okay, if you want updates, news updates, but also like substantive videos, including some really detailed, long like trainings and tutorials, YouTube is where you can find that stuff. Okay, the channel name is Political Asylum Lawyers on YouTube. Political Asylum Lawyers. All right. All right. Pacific 975 says, my friend's court case is scheduled for November 10th, 2025. We really don't have confidence in our current lawyer. Is it too late to change? We're denied for a continuance. What is today's? It's too late to hire us to actually be, well, to answer what you asked, there may be some lawyers who would be willing to take on this case at this late time. For us, unfortunately, it's too late to hire us to actually be your lawyers. However, your friend's lawyer. However, it's not too late to hire us for the preparation, to practice, to help your friend do the practice for the individual hearing, for the court hearing. Okay, so we can still do that. Pacific 975. Go to asylumprep.com. Okay, and look, that webpage talks about. It refers to asylum interview, like for USCIS interviews, but it's a very similar thing that we do for immigration court. We also can do this for immigration court hearings, the practice and preparation for immigration court in a similar way to what we do for interviews at the asylum office. All right. Oh, you can call me Adam. Thanks, Brian. You're welcome. So you're Burmese. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, we've had a lot of success with Burma. I think, I'm not positive, but I think that we've never lost a case for someone from Burma, which you may think, well, everyone from Burma should win, obviously, but that's not how it works. People from Burma do lose cases. All right. Okay, Carol Carolata says, I need Mandamus. I've been waiting 4.5 years for my interview. Carol, for us, we have a minimum of 5 years. So we wouldn't file the Mandamus lawsuit until you reach 5 years. But we can get started, you can talk with us now about it. In fact, we can also, if you want, we can get started on another aspect of your case of actually doing the written work products that we would like to do for you on the paperwork. We can start that now, and then once you hit 5 years, we can file that lawsuit. So, Carol, if you want to talk about this stuff, go to winasylum.com, winasylum.com. Oh, this is a good one. Ari says, if we take the mandamus route, will the officer know that I sued the government to get the interview scheduled? Good question. The question is this. Will the asylum officer who does your interview know that you sued the government to force that interview? So let's say you file a mandamus lawsuit. It works. You get the interview. Well, when you're sitting across from that officer who's interviewing you, are they going to know that that's how you got the interview? Maybe. Look, when I was an asylum officer with the government, we did not know. Like, we didn't know. That information that someone had sued to get the interview, just it didn't go in the immigration file. We didn't know. I don't know now whether it's likely they will know or not, but it doesn't matter. Even if they do know, it doesn't matter. I truly believe this. Look, and there's multiple reasons for why I think it will not negatively affect your case. Okay, but I mean, look. First of all, it's understandable. Like, it's understandable that someone in your position who's been waiting for many years would take this step to assert your rights to finally have your case decided. It's not like oh my gosh, how could someone do that? It's understandable. It's reasonable. Also, I just think they won't care because it's in the United States, we sue all the time. It's not a big deal. It's like we're taking out the trash. We do this all the time. No big deal. It's normal for us, just not a big deal. And then third, look, they actually can't use it against you as a negative factor, at least not formally. If they want to deny you or make a negative decision, the officer has to justify that negative decision to their supervisor. They have to list like the reasons and explain it. And this is not one that they can use. They cannot cite as a negative factor, oh, the person sued the government to get their interview. It's not a negative factor that they can use to justify a decision. So look, we've been doing this a ton lately. I think we filed like 200 of these in the last couple of years. We have not lost one yet. Look, past results don't guarantee future success, but we have not lost one of these yet. It's a powerful tool, and I don't think it will negatively affect your underlying asylum case. Okay, I don't worry about it at all for our clients. In fact, Ari, we should talk. We should talk. All right. My court hearing is scheduled for 2028 from USCIS. Is this the final hearing? No, I think what you're saying, Ain Buhari, I think you're saying, based on your comment that you left earlier, it sounds like you had an interview with USCIS. USCIS referred your case to immigration court. Now you got an immigration court hearing in 2028. No, that will not be the final hearing. That will be the first hearing, which is called a master calendar hearing. But I recommend you get a lawyer and that you try to get that hearing canceled and skip straight to the individual hearing to move your case along faster. All right. Uncle Abdo says, if someone has mental disabilities and was in special ed and the process for everything is very slow and difficult, or how difficult to win asylum is it, and his certificate and doctor letter, will that help? Yeah, so the question is this. So how does asylum work for someone who has like mental or intellectual capacity challenges? So they still have to meet the asylum requirements, all right? But they can get help from like a trusted family member or friend if they have a hard time understanding or being able to explain their case. It does definitely, I would definitely, in these cases, yeah, try to get documentation from medical professionals about the disability or the challenges they're facing that will definitely sort of help. It's necessary actually, especially if they're not going to testify, if they're not able to tell their own story and answer questions, then it would need to be someone that's helping them do that knows their situation, knows them, and knows their situation very well. So it's tough. It's tough to make this work, I think, but it's not impossible. Okay. Does TPS stop the 1-year deadline for asylum? Yes, Adam. If you're in the United States and you get TPS before hitting 1 year in the United States, then it doesn't technically stop the 1-year clock, but it serves as an exception called maintenance of status, which falls under the extraordinary circumstances exception to the 1 year filing deadline. So basically, yeah, like it helps you to get around the 1 year filing deadline if you apply while you still have that TPS. Okay, but if you apply while you still have it. Chief Wolf says, what's the backlog now for asylum interviews? Well, there's a backlog of like 1.5 million cases pending. However, most people who apply right now are getting their interviews right away within 2 or 3 months, sometimes a few weeks. So you got to be ready. I know it's weird. There's a massive backlog, yet if you apply right now, there's a good chance you're going to get your interview almost immediately. I know that's weird, but that's how it is. All right. Nice. AK says, my old lawyers sent the wrong I-589 story, a wrong 589 story. I didn't know English at the time. Can I tell the officer at the interview it's a mistake and go only with my new full story? Look, I mean, tell the truth. Always tell the truth. Honesty is the best policy. Tell your own true story. And yeah, you got to tell them that was what was sent in for you was wrong. I think you should do this while you're discussing your asylum application. Don't wait until you get into the substantive question and answers portion of the interview. It will probably be considered too late by then. Do it during the review of your I-589, where the officer is going through with you pretty much every little box, everything in the on the form. Before you get to the end, where the officer says, okay, now sign this to say that everything is true and correct with all the corrections we made. Before you sign it, say, officer, I got to tell you, explain what happened. Explain that it was not true, and expect a lot of questions about it. You're going to get a lot of questions about, well, why didn't you, did they read it back to you in your language? Why didn't you insist on, learning what was said in that document? Like, they're going to ask you a lot of questions about it. It's going to present a challenge. It's going to present a challenge in your case, but it's not impossible to overcome. All right. All right. For those who just joined, I'm Brian Manning. I'm an asylum lawyer, and my law firm is called Political Asylum Lawyers. And we help immigrants all over the country, Doesn't matter where you are. We help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right. You're welcome, Muslim. Does applying for asylum at the end or close to the end of F1 status negatively affect how the officer views the case? Maybe a little bit. I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, honestly, look, I think the sooner you apply for asylum, the better. Okay, the sooner you apply for asylum, the better. It is true. It is true that sometimes an officer may look at someone who files right at the end of their valid status and be like, this person just realized their status was ending, didn't have anything else, any other way to stay here, so they applied for asylum. And that obviously does not look good. I think the sooner you apply, the better, for multiple reasons. But yeah, that's one of them. Boo or Mambao says, are you taking new asylum cases for those who live in New York? Over on LinkedIn. Nice. Yeah, we help people in New York. Yeah, we have lots of clients in New York. Lots of clients in New York. I love helping people in New York. I love New York. Greatest city in the world, as they say in Hamilton. Center of the universe, as they say in Rent. If you guys didn't know this about me, I like musicals. I can't sing or act, but I love musicals. I love New York. Yeah, Babao or Babu, Mbao. We have lots of clients in New York. We take cases in New York. We should talk. If you think you might want help, please go to winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. That's where you can schedule a consultation with one of our asylum professionals. We want to talk. We want to get to know you, see what's going on, analyze your situation, tell you whether we think we can help you. And if we think that we're in a position to help you, we're going to explain to you in a lot of detail how or exactly what it is we'll do as part of what we call our asylum action plan to build the strongest case possible, to prepare you as well as possible, give you the best possible chance to win your asylum case. Well, what is your favorite musical, Brian? Adam wants to know. I'll probably say Hamilton. I in the past I would have said it was a tie between Les Miserables and Rent, but I saw Hamilton. I've listened to the soundtrack a lot for the last several years, but my family and I, we finally saw it in New York on Broadway this past summer. saw it for the first time and it was amazing. So probably I'll probably say Hamilton. All right. Uh, quadruple A. Have you scheduled a consultation with us yet? Um, let's talk. AAA. Oh, Yana, привет. From Ukraine. Thank you for your answer and for the support you provide us. You're welcome. My pleasure. Yana, if you're still here, I spent a month on the Sea of Azov near Melitopol, volunteering at like a youth camp lager on the Sea of Azov near Melitopol. It was great. About a month there, a few days in Kiev. I loved it. I thought Ukraine was great. And it's a shame what's happening to your country. Adam likes Hamilton. He says Hamilton's great. My shot is my favorite. Yeah, my shot was amazing live. Oh, it was so cool and seeing it live. Your boss wants to know any insights on if a government shutdown will affect USCIS asylum office operations. Will they continue to do it? They should continue. The government shutdown probably will not affect the asylum office. Okay. All right. Questions do you have about winning asylum in America? For those who've joined recently, I'm Brian Manning, and I'm an asylum lawyer. My law firm is called Political Asylum Lawyers, and we help immigrants all over the country, all over, to secure their future in America through asylum. And I'm answering your questions here about USA Asylum. What do you want to know about winning asylum in America? All right, let's see. TikTok, how are you? Okay, Robbie Key wants to know if you are sent to immigration court from USCIS, does it basically mean that you're deported? Good question. The question is this. So if you had your interview with USCIS and you got a negative decision, you're sent to immigration court. Does that basically mean that there's no chance and you're going to get deported? No. I mean, look, let me stress, it's not good. It means that USCIS decided you don't qualify for asylum. Look, they try to be like diplomatic or to put it lightly in their referral notice letter where they say this is not a denial. But it basically is. They decided you don't qualify for asylum. And the government is actively trying to deport you. If you are in deportation proceedings, the government's trying to deport you. But there is still hope. There is still hope. The good news is that the approval rates the last few years have actually been higher in the immigration courts than at the asylum offices. There are some judges who are a little bit more reasonable and sophisticated than some of the asylum officers and are more likely to actually carefully consider what you're saying, consider your case, and apply the facts to the law. So there's hope. Okay, it does not necessarily mean you're going to get deported. There's still hope, but you gotta work hard and put together a great case. All right. Puskar says 2016 November asylum pending case USCIS New York City. What can I do? You can sue the government. You should sue the government. Well, let me rephrase that. You should talk with an asylum lawyer to see if it makes sense in your particular case to sue the government. There's a good chance that I would say yes, probably after hearing your story and talking with you. All right, the Mandamus lawsuit is a powerful, powerful tool that we've been using to great effect in my law firm. Our clients love it because it works really, really well. All right. If you want to talk with us about that, go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. All right. Fatima Zaidi says, my husband got asylum, brought me here, but now he's divorcing me. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear about this challenge. That's tough. The question is this. What can you do? What do you need to do if you got asylum status through your spouse, but then they divorce you before you got your green card? Look, unfortunately, you're not going to qualify. If the divorce becomes final before you apply for your green card, before you get a green card, then you're not going to qualify for the green card if the divorce becomes final first. What you're going to need to do if you want to get a green card is you're going to need to apply for asylum through this process called nunc pro tunc. It's this weird Latin term. Don't worry about it. But basically, it means you have to submit your own asylum application. But the good news is you don't have to meet all the asylum requirements, and you won't do like a full interview. It's basically like a very short interview to just confirm that you were married at the time that that your husband won his case, and therefore you got asylum status through him, and then to confirm that you're now divorced, and then they approve that asylum application, and immediately you can then apply for your green card on your own, and you're not dependent on your husband's asylum situation to get a green card through that. Okay, so you should. It's a little bit tricky. It almost sounds weird because it is. And it's a little bit tricky. You should talk with an asylum lawyer, I think, to get help with this. All right. Oh, my interview is next week. I'm really scared. I have anxiety, PTSD, depression, says Marianne Hill Ramirez. I'm sorry to hear that, Marianne Hill. I hope it goes well for you, and I hope that you know, getting help that you need to deal with these challenges. Marianne Hill, you, it's Tuesday today. What, Marianne Hill, you should go to asylumprep.com, or if you speak Spanish, you can go to entrevistadeasilo.com. Otra vez, entrevistadeasilo.com. And watch the video at the top or read the text. And if you think that sounds good, you should book a consultation immediately today. If you do the consultation with us tomorrow, we would have time to help you through what we call the mock asylum interview experience. Again, it's called the mock asylum interview experience. We call it the experience for short. It's a special program I put together where we help you prepare. We don't have time to represent you in your interview, but if you do the consultation tomorrow and you hire us tomorrow, we do have time to do the preparation, which is the most important part of any case, I believe. It's the most important thing is the preparation. We have time for that. You can learn all about it, Marianne Hill, at asylumprep.com in English, or in Spanish, entrevistadeasilo.com. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. Nice. Paikun Dagisa wants to know if the officer keeps stopping you during your interview and said, "I understand," and move on. Is that what? Is that a bad thing? It's frustrating, and it makes it hard for you to tell your story in a coherent, clear, and impactful way. It's hard. You know, it sounds like maybe you already had your interview, such that this won't do you any good now. But for everyone else, it's something that you can practice for. It's something that practicing the interview, doing a mock interview, can help you prepare for this kind of situation and to be able to tell your story, including under these difficult circumstances. But if it's after the fact for you, then look, it's not ideal, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose your case. Okay. All right. Sim says, if you apply for asylum after 1 year and you still maintain your F1 status, will they transfer the IJ? Well, if you win asylum, it doesn't matter. If the asylum officer approves your case, you win asylum. If it's a negative decision, it depends on whether you still have status at that moment that they make the negative decision. Okay. If you don't have status, then yeah, you get sent to the immigration court. You'll be in deportation proceedings. If you do still have your status at the moment USCIS makes the negative decision, you won't be put in deportation proceedings. You just get what's called a notice of intent to deny, and you have 16 days to respond in writing to try to basically change the officer's mind and tell them why they're wrong. And then if they still don't want to give you asylum, you get what's called a final denial. You get denied, you lose asylum, you lose your case, you don't win asylum. But you don't get deported, you just stay here in whatever status you have until that ends. Oh, nice. Kawinja says on TikTok, I passed my asylum interview after watching most of your YouTube videos. Wow, there's a lot of them, so you must have spent a lot of time there. Thank you so much. Awesome. Kawinja, glad to hear that. Very kind of you to come on here and tell us that, and congratulations to you. Huge congrats. That's great news. Very glad to hear that you won your case. That's awesome. Congratulations. Awesome. Oscar wants to know, my friend's asylum case is approved. Can she still file for her son? She included 8 years ago when he was under 21. Now that he's over 21 and come live with her. Yeah, Oscar. Like, um, yeah. The question is, actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the question is. Like, oh, I don't understand. I'm not sure what the situation exactly is that you're describing. If your friend included their son as a dependent in the case, they said, yes, I want, well, it sounds like if he's here living with her and she included him as a dependent in the case and she wins asylum, then he gets asylum too. It doesn't matter that he's turned 21. It doesn't matter. Okay, his age is frozen as of the date of the asylum application being made. If he's not in the country, if he's abroad, um, then if she wins asylum or he or she, then she'll be able to petition for him to come here under this I-730 process. It doesn't matter that he's turned 21, but he must remain unmarried. If he gets married, then he will not be able to get asylum through her or come here through her. Okay. Bassam, yes, you're eligible to apply now for the green card. You can do it today. I recommend it. I recommend that you get in the queue now. All right. That's my recommendation. Nice. All right, guys. Gonna wrap it up. That's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for joining on another live. And look, if you want to talk with us and see if we think we might be in a position to help you, go to winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. Again, that's WINASYLUM.com. That's where you can schedule a consultation to you know, talk with us so we can get to know you, understand your case, see if we think we can help you. If we think we can help you, we're going to explain how, like exactly concretely what the steps are that we're going to take to give you the best possible chance of securing your future in America. All right. I'm Brian Manning, and it really is, as always, a pleasure and an honor to support you in your asylum journey. And we'll see you guys.